The Houston Astros had the day off today, and we're going to talk about the series coming up with the Rockies. What's going on with this club? They are hot. They have moved up in the power rankings on this off-day edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. Make us part of your daily routine on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your daily podcasts. Go and become an everydayer and become somebody that listens to our podcast every day. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb and use code all lowercase lockedonmlb for a first deposit match up to $100. So, Brett, I know that the Astros had a day off. It's a Monday. I hate these Monday days off, but all of a sudden the outlook for the season is bright. That's why you and I kind of went with this bright theme. I'm wearing a bright orange. You're wearing the bright green and everything, but where can you find you when you're not wearing green?
That's why you can find me at h-vac on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. And you can find me at Back to the Bullpen on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Look, man, I'm always positive, always Stros. You know that, Eric. Everybody knows that here. And we love the direction that this team's going. And we talked about it last show, winning this series, sweeping a series against the Orioles, and not just against the Orioles, but without Kyle Tucker. And your pitchers that have really been shining continue to shine, continue to pitch. Ronel Blanco, these guys. And so it's fun to see. But another thing that's cool to look at are all the updates of the AllStar rankings. So we're going to look at the AllStar. We're going to look at the rankings, like where the Astros rank in the power rankings. We know that changes weekly. Just finishing this first half strong. Also an update if we have any on any of the players that are injured. And I've got some comments about from Chandler Rome about whether he thinks that Jainer Diaz will be able to catch Fromber going forward because, Caratini had caught 5 games in a row of Fromber. So we'll see, man.
I think that it doesn't matter when Fromber's on. I don't think it matters who catches him. I think it's more of a mental thing. But when he's on, it doesn't matter who catches him. But yeah, there's definitely some updates on the All-Star. So let's go and get started on that. Jainer Diaz is still 5th in the All-Star voting. He's trailing Adley Rutschman. Rutschman is got a pretty sizable lead. Salvador Perez is 2nd, but you have Jainer Diaz as 5th. If you're looking at second base, Jose Altuve is still got a pretty sizable lead over Marcus Semien with the Rangers, and then at third place is Jorge Mateo with the Orioles. Outside of Marcus Semien and Altuve, nobody's even close. So get out there, continue voting for Jose Altuve. If anybody deserves to be on the All-Star team this year, it's got to be Jose Altuve. He's playing out of his mind this year. I mean, I think that we've seen him better at times, but I think with the way this season has gone, Jose Altuve has been doing pretty good.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, you got Altuve, and then you've got the other 2 guys of, the Houston Astros that are tops, and you have Kyle Tucker, who's still 3rd. He's not very far in front of Stephen Kwan. Stephen Kwan's having a year, dude. I don't know if you've paid attention to what the Guardians are doing in Cleveland, but right. Kwan has been hitting the cover off the ball. The Yankees have 3 players. The Angels have a guy that's 9th, Mike Trout. I don't think he's really been playing that much. It's funny. It is a
I think
popularity.
that's a name. I think that's a name value. A lot of people don't know who to vote for. They're
Exactly.
like, well, I know
Oh,
who Mike Trout is. So
exactly. But dude, Aaron Judge 2.3 million is leading, I think, all vote getters right now. Jordan Alvarez leading a little over 200,000 votes in front of Giancarlo Stanton, designated hitter. It's interesting how that designated hitter formula changes when
Shohei
old
Ohtani's not in the league. Yeah.
Shohei's not there. And so I think Jordan's going to get to see a lot more all-star games. Now, the cool thing I like about the all-star game this year, and even if Kyle Tucker makes it in, I don't know that he's going to play in the all-star game, especially because he's going to have just come off the IL. Dude, it's been,
If
no, I'm just saying, it's been 3 weeks, and I didn't
right.
realize it seems like it was just yesterday, kind of, right? But the all-star game is in Arlington. So I would love for at least I think Altuve and Alvarez make it for me.
Right.
And then I think you also get Ronel Blanco in. And then look, if anybody on this relief staff can make it, Mr. Scott is the guy that I think gets that nod. But that relief pitcher window and funnel is so tight. That's a very select. They try to get as many closures in there as they can and stuff like that. So, but those are my picks for the Houston Astros going to the All-Star break. I'm still considering going up there for the All-Star Fan Fest at least to go check some things out there All-Star week since it's here, in Texas.
Yeah, continue voting for these Astros guys because as the voting comes to a close, you're going to have a lot of people stuffing the ballots to try to get their guy in. Orioles fans have already started to do that. We saw that Ryan Mountcastle has surpassed Vladimir Guerrero Jr., so that's something that we kind of expected. And Jordan Westberg is not really gonna pass him, but he's getting closer to Jose Ramirez. So I think that you see what the Orioles are doing is if you look at the Orioles, they're either first or third in most of the positions, with the exception of I would say outfield. I don't think that outfield, maybe they're fifth and sixth with Santander and Kowser. And Kowser's started off really good as a rookie, but he's kind of been slumping a little bit recently. But the Orioles fans are definitely getting out and rocking the vote. So Astros fans, if you want to see these three guys in all-star lineup, even if Kyle Tucker doesn't play, it's still honor for him to go. And another reason why the Astros need to extend him or keep him as a Houston Astros. So show your love for Kyle Tucker. Get out, rock your vote. As Brett's told you several times, if you have multiple email addresses, go out there and vote as many times as you can. And if you need to, create different email addresses. We've seen the Royals fans do that in past, and so just go out there and create all the aliases for your emails.
Eric, you're still stuck in the 90s. Rock the vote. Here's a guy that grew up watching MTV in the 90s. I just love it. Rock the vote. I literally hadn't heard that phrase until you revamped it this year, but I love it. I love it. I love nostalgia. But hey, do you want to, oh, you know what? I want to talk about the rankings next segment, but we haven't visited this in a while. Okay. Are we plummeting or are we orbiting? I've got us about as close to orbiting as possible. Okay. We are pretty close. Now, I'm not saying we're there. We need to be, orbit needs 2 feet in the red. Okay. This is kind of like the infield rule. Like 2 feet have to be in the sand on both sides. 4 feet have to be in the sand. You can't shift illegally. I think we're close to orbiting. I'm not saying we're orbiting, but we're pretty freaking close. We got to give the Astros their flowers. What do you think, Eric? Finishing strong. I think we can talk more about it in the second segment, but do you think we're close to orbiting?
Well, I think that they definitely, as I'm learning physics, they need to go ahead and raise the cannons a little bit higher. If they want to go ahead and have the cannonball reach orbit and achieve the orbit, they got to make sure it's at the right velocity, the right angle and everything. So I think the Astros are learning how to win. They're learning how to play better baseball. And if they can do that, yes, they can orbit. I do have one critique of this thing I didn't notice before. Why is the red orbiting? It should be maybe the blue, because red is typically a bad thing. So that's just something
No,
as a math teacher I was
no,
thinking of. So
no.
we'll
Hey,
continue this after.
this is a skill Canva gave me. Okay, it's a skill Canva gave me.
All right, so we'll be back after a break.
Here at Locked On Astros, we pride ourselves in getting you the latest news on your team, whether it's the offseason, draft, or spring training, or even the playoffs. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With my situation being self-employed, freelance work, and my regular job, I've got a lot of things to sift through. So I'm going to go with someone with over 14 years experience with an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, you have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season that you need to file correctly, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. See the link in the episode description below. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled tradesmen, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. My father is a skilled master electrician, and I have shared this with him, and he really likes it. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and make us your first listen. Become an everydayer. And go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. And check us both out on your Amazon Fire TV stick. Just search the free channel app, and you can go and watch us on your big screen if you want to. And you don't even have to, you can even stream it on your TV if you want to as well. So there are many different ways to watch Brett and I do the Locked On Astros podcast. So the Astros right now are 38-40. They are 4 games back in the wild card right now. Only the Kansas City Royals are ahead of them before you get to the wild card group. And so you have the Orioles, the Twins, the Red Sox in the wild card hunt right now. Then you have the Royals at 42-37. They have lost the last 3 games, and then the last 10, they are 3-7. So they are, as Tom Petty would say, they are free falling a little bit. Maybe they're coming back a little bit to they're regressing back to the norm. The Red Sox are 8-2 in their last 10 games. They are kind of accelerating at the right time. And you have the Twins that are 7-3 in the last 10 games. They are 43-35. And then the Orioles are kind of in the middle right now. They're still leading the wild card, but they are 4-6 in the last 10 games. So where we thought there was no life for the Astros at possibly making playoffs, it still could be a hard road. It still could be a long road to get from there to here, but at least there's a chance that we feel like there's a chance. That's like they would say on Dumb and Dumber. You're saying there's a chance.
Oh, yeah. I 100% believe there's a chance. And just going to put this back up here. Eric, if you had told me the Astros would be 13th in the power rankings going into this week 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, I don't know what team you're watching. But it literally, we literally shaved 4 games off the lead. I mean, we were talking about being double digits out of first place. We're closer to the wild card than we are the division, but we're closer to the division than we've ever been. We're 2 games under 500 for the first time, and you've got a perfect opportunity to get back to 500 against the Rockies. I'm sorry, the Rockies, these 2 games, you have to win these 2 games. I don't want to split the series and go, well, we won the season series 3 games. I don't want to do that. We need to win both of these games because we got to keep pace, because whenever I guess the other teams in our division, our rivals, when they were slumping, we were also slumping,
Right.
And it's just one of those things where you're like, come on, guys, we've got to gain some ground. 6 games out. And then if you just look at what's going on. I believe Seattle is losing right now, and
Fairbanks just came in for the save.
Yeah, so 4-3 they're losing. The Rangers are winning. Dang it, they're playing the Brewers. Brewers, you had one job. Well, look, if the Rangers win, then they gain a half game. But if the Mariners lose, we gain a half game on them. So the Rangers and us will be tied record-wise, I believe, if they win tonight, because we're obviously off. But you got a perfect opportunity. And then the Mets have been playing better, but I don't think the Grimace effect will affect us. I think that was for other teams.
Right.
But I think you got 2 winnable series, and then is it the All-Star? Wait, when is the All-Star break? Is it coming up? Is it June?
It's like the second week of July.
July. Okay. So I've got to go back and look at this schedule, because I forget who we have left in this schedule. Rockies and Mets. Oh, okay. And then, okay, that's right. Then we go to July. Oh, then it's 4 games at Toronto. That's a series that doesn't really bother me, Eric, as much as it did earlier. The Twins will be a good series. Oh, okay. You end the first half with the Marlins and the Rangers, and then you have All-Star week. So, okay.
Well, hey, I want to give you a stat I saw on the crawfish boxes today, and I hope this guy all the best of luck. Since Jose Abreu has not been on the active roster.
Right.
This is when him and the Astros were taking a break. If you've watched Friends, you get the reference. Or when they actually broke up for good. The Astros are now 22-12 during those games. So they're a whole different team without Jose Abreu.
Completely. Oh, 100%. Oh, he totally look, him being on this team was a drag. It was like when you put the anchor out on the boat and you start driving the boat and you're like, why is the boat dragging so much? And you look back like, oh, because let me tell you, I left the anchor out a couple times in Lake Houston in our boat. And one time my dad about threw me out of the boat because I almost tore that boat up, keeping that anchor in the ground. I didn't pull the anchor,
Right.
And that's really kind of what he was. I mean, you hate to say it. It's no disrespect. He knows why he's not here, but you know what? He made $58 million for sucking. Okay. I don't feel too bad for the guy, if I'm being really honest.
Yeah. So the Astros and Jose Abreu, they're definitely not each other's lobsters. If you get the Friends reference there.
Where's all these? Have you been watching Friends a lot lately?
No, actually, How I Met Your Mother. But I guess I was just thinking about the break. Anyway, so I think the Astros have been a much better team. If you look at their stats, their ERA is coming back down. They are now 14th in terms of relievers. ERA, they're 3.73. ERA in terms of relievers and starters. They're 4.39 ERA, which is 20th in baseball. So that has come down a lot. I know that if you would say what's the one weakness that the Astros still possibly need to address, it's obvious. They don't have a lot of depth, especially with the injuries to the pitching staff, the starting pitching staff. I think the bullpen, it maybe could use one arm, but I don't know if the Astros are going to go out and spend any assets to go and do that at the trade deadline. But if you're going to have to do anything, possibly you're going to have to maybe address the starting pitching because I think hitting wise, I don't think the Astros are going to go out and do anything. I think what you see is what you're going to get.
They don't need to. I think that, obviously, I think all your positional players are taken care of. The only people that you're gonna trade are guys you want to keep, like Jake Myers. But just going into this trade deadline, you wonder who would they go get, and if they go get them, at what price, and who are we willing to give up? And again, and I think I mentioned this last time we talked about it. They have to make the team better. You can't just trade just to trade.
Right.
You can't be like, hey, let's make a trade, because it's so funny. Baseball fans are very fickle during the trade deadline season because they feel like if you don't get a top line person, you didn't do anything. If you didn't do anything, what are you thinking?
If you're not first, you're last. But
who would have? Yeah, well, who would have thought that the Braves four trade deadline acquisitions in 21 would help yield them a World Series title? No one knew that. Not even the Braves. The Braves got what they needed. If Dana Brown sees a player that they need or want, and they have something to offer that team, they're going to make the offer. They're going to get somebody. But they're going to do it, I think, only when they feel like it makes the team better.
Yeah. So, guys, in a second, we'll go ahead and talk about Caratini and where the Astros go from here and look at tomorrow's game because it sucks without baseball.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player type stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can win 100 times your money. If you get as little as 4 picks correct, you can turn $10 into $1,000. PrizePicks has you covered every week, from lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays, player stats and types that you're selecting, highlights, everything in between. So what I need you to do is go to PrizePicks app today, download it, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for checking out the Locked On Astros podcast. We appreciate every one of you, everybody that tunes in live. I want to go ahead and answer a few questions here. Somebody said, well, isn't Rizzo a free agent after this year? He is having a terrible year. He's having almost as worse a year as
you just got rid of Abreu.
Yeah, Jose Abreu. So yes, this is definitely not an option for Houston Astros. I think 2 years ago, yes, before the Astros got Jose Abreu, they probably wanted to go get Anthony Rizzo, but I don't think he's an option there. I know a lot of people have been saying, what about Joey Loperfido at first base? I think this is what Jay Roberts asked, but I think that the fact that you hear Dana Brown saying, well, we'd like to see him at first base, he's actually admitting that they would like to see him at some point play first base, but you're going to have to actually play him at first base. So what I think has to happen is it has to be some type of blowout game where the Astros are either up by 10 runs or down by 10 runs. And then you just say, hey, Joey, let's go and put you out at first base, see how you do. But the problem is, Brett, is he's playing such great defense in the outfield. You need him out in that outfield. You want him on that wall. You need him on that wall. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where he fits the team better than to kind of handcuff him at first base.
Right. No, and I don't think you'd handcuff him at first base. Like you said, I think it would be a platoon type option. I mean, look, here's a reminder. They've Yainer Diaz played first for several games in AAA. Yainer Diaz could easily win whenever Caratini comes back. Look, Cesar Salazar is probably right now their best defensive catcher. He's also doing it at the plate. And he's a guy that we thought would be a perpetual backup, but Cesar Salazar may turn into a guy that going into spring training next year is fighting for the number one position. And as much as we love Yainer Diaz here on the show, and as much as I believe in his skills, ultimately, I think you give him more time. I think he turns into a better catcher than what we've seen this year because his defense has dropped off. You could see Diaz. I wouldn't mind moving Diaz to first. I love his bat in the lineup, and I think he hits better when he plays. And if you have Caratini and Salazar turns out to be legit back there, look, the Astros have made it clear they're going to put guys where they feel like they're going to be successful. If you produce, you're going to play. Chas McCormick, keep giving him spot starts, make him think he's losing his job. He's going to play really well. I think Dubon needs regular ABs. I think Loperfido needs regular ABs. But then you got to also squeeze in Jake Myers. Right now, while you got Kyle Tucker out, it's not time to screw out the lineup and have 80 different lineups. It's time to put an outfield out there of 3 guys that deserve everyday playing time. And on my card there, it looks like, because they're probably going to play Jordan in left field most likely, quite a bit. Chas is the odd man out. And so let Chas play once every 2 or 3 games. He's going to hit the cover off the ball. But I'll say this, and I'll wrap my comment here. Yordan Alvarez has the most, I think it's the most outs, the highest defensive rating of just about any left fielder right now. He's at a 5, and everybody else is at negative numbers because people assume when they're on the base pass and they get the ball hit to Yordan that he's not going to make a play. And what does he do? He guns runners down, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do at first base. I don't mind Dubon at first, but I just don't see Loperfido getting much of a chance there because, like you said, he's doing really well in the outfield, and he plays better, I think, in the outfield right now for this team.
I know it's hindsight is all 2020, and as when George Springer left, this was a big deal for Astros fans. I know this is his 4th year away from Houston, but he had probably his best season last year, overall season with the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
he has going downhill. Unfortunately, he has the lowest OPS of all qualified hitters right now with a 567. He's batting 191 with 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. So sometimes players they have some type of regression. Maybe the Astros saw something. Last year he had 22 home runs, he had 72 RBIs, and he had 20 stolen bases. So I don't think anybody saw him having this steep of a decline.
No,
sometimes I think it happens. I'm trying to link this back to the Jose Abreu.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, I don't blame the Astros for going after Jose Abreu, but I do applaud what they did. Okay, we can't fix him, so let's go ahead and let him go. Let him try to fix himself, or let him try to pick on with somebody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, the name of the game is what are you doing for me lately? And Jim Crane just proved that no matter how much I'm paying you, if you're bad, we're going to let you go. Jim Crane definitely had to okay that move because that's his pocketbook, not Dana's. And I think Dana went and said, guys, what are we doing here? This is dumb. Like, we respect him, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. You notice how Bagwell went to Florida with him, kind of thing. So it's almost like, hey, Bags, why don't you go with them? I think his plane hadn't left yet.
I don't think it was. I mean, part of it was, this is the guy I pushed to sign, or I had a hand in, but he's a first baseman. He's a
Oh,
former.
I understand. Oh, no, I understand. No, I understand. I'm being a little tongue in cheek with it, obviously. But whether people like it or not, Bagwell actually doesn't want this team to fail.
Right.
And so that's not it. But hey, you know what? We are 2 games under 500, Eric. And I would have never thought that I would be happy saying that, being a Houston Astros commentator, because that's not like my team to do that. That's not like our team to do that. But we have seen this potential that they have. We know what kind of club they have. And when they get Kyle Tucker back, I mean, who knows? Kyle Tucker may go off because, dude, right now, I mean, the field has left him. When I say the field, Aaron Judge has left him and left everybody in this with 28 home runs right now. He'll probably have 30 by the All-Star break. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get that point. But Kyle Tucker still comes back and I think still mashes some home runs. And I want to see Jordan. Jordan's got time to hit some more home runs in June. I'm excited about that.
All right. So the odds of the Astros making the playoffs was pretty grim, according to Fangraphs last week when the Astros dropped that first game to the White Sox. It was very grim. I think that the odds of making the playoffs was like at 33%. It's all the way up to 43.7%. The Mariners are still at 79.9%. The Astros have a 20.6 chance of winning the wild card, and they have a 23% chance of winning division. The Mariners still are in the driver's seat, but the Astros can do what they're doing now. Just keep on putting pressure, keep on winning series, keep on playing good baseball. Who knows what can happen? All we could do is be bright and optimistic about our team and hope that the Astros have a big run in them to finish the season.
That's right. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow after the Rockies and Astros game. So stay tuned in, get locked in, and don't forget to make us your first listen every single day. I'm H-vac. He's Eric the Man Huysman, and this has been another great show. Thank you, Eric. Y'all have a good one, and go Stros.
And go Hunter Brown versus Austin Gromber. We'll see you tomorrow.